Get it over with. Get it over with.
My lips are just feeling chapped. So I'm putting on. This is the closest thing to me. I don't know where chapstick is.
I know. I just put some Vaseline on my lips, but I'm like, I have chapstick right here. I'm gonna use some more. I was doing my makeup. I hadn't finished yet, so if I'm all like brows and foundation, that's why.
You can't even tell.
Okay, good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I was really trying too. You know, I didn't like do the let me do this really quick and like use my hands. Like I was actually like taking my time with it. I forgot I had one and it started like playing our voices. I was like, whoa, I'm talking.
I just got these glasses. This is random, but I'm mad because they're supposed to be anti-reflection.
Yeah, I could see the reflection for sure.
Because I wanted them to be anti-reflection because all my other glasses aren't. And I was like, well, I should get anti-reflection because I'm literally doing this all the time.
I feel like mine are supposed to be that way too, but I think it's like, because look, like the window you can see.
That's just so lame.
I don't think it's like fully anti-reflection.
And then mine's like blue because I have blue blockers. And I don't know how it's blue blocking with its blue. But like even everything when I put them on, sometimes like in the light, everything looks like greener. Like I can't really tell, but like if I'm like going like this, I can tell that like
you can see the
glasses, it's green.
Hi, Carol.
I can't believe like everybody DNF'd this book. Like nobody read it.
Everyone DNF'd it. Deja and I are the only two that read the book. Carol actually DNF'd it twice because she tried it a second time for the book club.
I don't think Carol tried the second time. I think Carol said in the group that she just didn't want to read it the second time, so she just didn't.
Okay. I could have swore she said she DNF'd it again.
Also, I'm sorry if you hear like cheering or something. I live right by the sports facilities, and this man is like, he's like doing his announcer voice, and he's like, whoa, and then everybody's like, woo.
Oh, I don't hear anything. Well, she was going to try again, but not. Okay, so maybe I was thinking. Maybe I was thinking you tried it, and then you were like, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah, because Crystal and Molly, they haven't really talked about reading any of the books in general. But then I know Kat said she didn't want to read it. Mm-hmm. Amy DNF'd it. Carol DNF'd it a while ago. Is that all of us?
I almost DNF'd it like a million times.
Honestly, I did not DNF
I thought about it.
Like, I didn't even want to DNF it because for me, the audiobook was very readable.
Because I listened to the audiobook as well.
It was just really easy to get through. Like, I didn't have to put too much mental power into reading. And I feel like sometimes a lot of our books, I really have to be like concentrating.
Oh yeah, for sure. We were just talking about like Carol and I and the Horror in 24 book club because one of the books that we
saw that little clip
this month was The Shape of Darkness, and we were talking about how if you it's definitely a book that if you were listening to on audiobook, you couldn't get distracted because if you did, you would miss stuff because all the little like clues throughout the story are like very subtle. So then if you miss something, you'd be completely lost, which Carol ended up missing the entire end of it. But it was so great. It was so great.
That's hilarious.
It was so great. I loved it. So hello.
Oh, I guess we should talk about our ratings.
Yeah. So, we do have some people in the chat that read the book.
That's great because I feel like last month I thought more people were going to read the book than who read the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild Places just came out.
I guess I just assumed because it was like a book of the month that it would be like more popular. But I mean, even I have like book of the months from like months ago that I haven't got to. Read it last month and enjoyed it. Rated 3 stars, but I think it was still good. Also listened to it though. Yeah, I listened to it as well. So Deja, why don't you go first?
So
just give us some general thoughts and your rating, and then we'll get into spoiler stuff.
So in my head, the book is like a 2.53 because 2.5 that's like average. I feel like it's very average. But I feel like after this live show, it's going to be a 2 because I feel like Raine didn't like it, and I feel like discussing it's going to make me not like it more. So we'll see. But I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't really horror. It didn't really creep me out at all. I was like, oh, this is kind of, it just seemed funky. It was just funky. And then I didn't like this is like kind of a spoiler, but I'm not gonna like say exactly it. But like, I didn't like how it shifted halfway through the book. I was like, huh? I was like, how is this happening right now? Like, I don't understand. Like, I thought this was the whole point of the book, and then now the point of the book is not the point anymore, and I'm
Right.
confused. The end was just weird as hell, and like, I don't know. I don't think I liked it. I don't think I liked it.
See, that's what's funny. Like, okay, so in the chat, I was immediately like, I hate this book. I'm sorry. Like, I hate it. But sitting on it now, having finished the book, I don't hate the book. I really don't. There's just a lot about it that I hate, but there's also a lot about it that I really liked. I'm going
Yeah.
to give it a 2-star rating, but just hear me out. I'm not going to be like trashing this book, okay? Like there's still a lot about it that I really, really liked.
Yeah,
There's
I like the
book
characters.
where I got to, because I was loving it, loving it, loving it, and then it got to this point, and then it's just didn't work for me. Like it just did not work for me, and I didn't hate the ending. Like I kind of like the whole reasoning behind
I
everything.
like the reasoning for the end, but I just thought
That's
it
how
was
we
just
got there,
so
and
obscure.
everything else about it. I guess once I get more into it, I'll be able to explain it a little
But
better.
I feel like also in the second half,
yeah.
where after it shifted, I feel like it just kind of dragged for a bit because it was like it just dragged. And then, but I like the characters. Not necessarily, maybe I didn't like the characters, but I like their relationship. The two characters together, I like their relationship. But I feel like if they were individual, I wouldn't like them. But I feel like they had a cute relationship.
I think that's what I liked most about the characters was their relationship with each other. But like you're saying, like them as individuals, like I really didn't like our main character. I really, really didn't. So we're gonna go ahead and get into spoiler stuff. I feel like most people in the chat have already read the book. You have, and then if you haven't given us your star rating in the comments, give us your star rating as well. Or if you like didn't finish it or whatever. I'm super curious on like the people that did DNF it, like where exactly they DNF the book. Like I wonder if it is like in that part where it just gets like slow and boring.
It did get
That's where
slow.
I think I was gonna stop reading it for sure. First of all, I will say first of all,
Sorry, I got something.
I will say, like, I totally understand why people suggested this book to this group. It is absolutely strange. Like, it's so
Weird.
different and weird. Yeah, which I definitely appreciate. And I can see why people really love it. And I see why they're like, the reviews are all over the place because it's either going to work
It
for
still
people.
has like a pretty okay Goodreads rating. It's not the worst.
So
It's like
too.
a 3.8.
Which is great. I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sarah saw that we all like, you know how someone, I don't know who posted it on the Stacks of Strange account, but they posted that TikTok or something on the story. Was that you?
I didn't know it wasn't me.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I think
Sarah saw that and
I
thought
assumed
it
was like Carol or
I thought
Cat.
it was Carol or Cat, yeah. But she saw that and thought we were talking about this book, and I don't know if it was this book specifically they posted it for, but Sarah was like, I told y'all this was a bad book. Oh, it was Cat.
And
was
was
like, I told
Cat,
y'all
was it
this
about
was
this book
bad.
or was it about next month? Because I didn't know if it was about
like,
next month or not. Because I know that one's getting some like not so great reviews, but also like I saw a few really good reviews, so who knows?
Yeah, there are definitely a couple really good reviews that I see. Like Kayla rated it 5 stars.
The Hollow Places, or yeah, okay.
She rated The Hollow Places 5 stars, which I find just so weird. Like, and then I don't know if you know Riley from Riley Marie. She also rated it 5 stars.
She reads a lot of romance.
Yeah, she reads a lot of romance, but she also reads horror and fantasy. But she rated it 5 stars. She says, "This is the type of bizarre horror that I love." Oh my gosh! And Kayla literally put this 5-star, like this book, The Hollow Places, on her favorite shelf on Goodreads.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't work for me. That's the thing. Okay, the thing about this book is it had a lot of elements that I truly enjoy in books, like having like this whole like museum of oddities thing. Like I
I
was
really like
totally
that.
ready for. I really liked the I thought it was going to be once they get out into this world and they see all the portals and stuff, like all the bunkers. I thought it was going to be like a portal fantasy type thing and that they were going to be like exploring these different places.
I mean,
Since
wasn't
that
it?
didn't happen, that
It was
kind
a
of like,
little Portal Fantasy-y, just to one place.
yeah. And I don't know, I feel like that like disappointed me a little bit. And then I just really I didn't care much for the main character. I thought I like snarky and like sarcastic characters, but like it was overly done. Like the jokes all the time made the story less creepy and a little more disjointed. And I guess like if I were to like specifically say one word about this book, it would be disjointed. I felt like it was just
Yeah,
all over the place.
that's what I felt about the end though, because with the what was it? A beaver? Was it a otter? I can't remember. It was an otter, right? With that otter, like it just felt so comical. It wasn't scary. Like it just was like I was just like an otter is just. I was just so confused. Like I like the reasoning behind how it like got, I guess, possessed or something.
Yeah, I
But
think that's a cool idea of like
yeah,
they would. I mean, it's a museum of oddities. Like you would, I didn't even think of that being a possibility that they brought this object in and that it was causing this, which
yeah, me
was
either.
great. I thought that was well done.
It's just like the thought of like this otter fighting a cat is just like in my
Yeah,
head,
that
and
was so
that's
silly.
funny. Like that is not horrifying. Like I wanted it to be
Yeah.
scary, and it
Mhm.
wasn't scary. This
Yeah.
otter was just like fighting people, and I was like, that's just hilarious at
It
that point.
was very silly. It was
That's what I'm
very
saying. It felt so silly that it wasn't scary, and I'm like, that wasn't the point of the book.
I like the reveal. I didn't like how it was done. So with like the fight scene at the end, like with all the different taxidermy and stuff, like it just didn't work for me. I agree with Blake. Like there's a lot about this
Oh,
book that
that
I
was good.
did very much like. So what I mean by that is like I really liked the book all the way up until they stayed the night like at that bunker. Everything after that I ended up hating. So everything up until that point was great. Like I really liked them finding like the dead body and then them going on to like up into I guess I keep wanting to call it the hollows. I don't know. Do they ever call it anything? Do they call it the hollows? Or is that
What
just my brain thinking that?
the trees?
Yeah, like the place that they're at.
I don't think they just called the Hollow Place. That's the name of the book. I
Oh,
think
I
they call it the Hollow
keep
Place.
wanting to call it the hollows. I don't know why. I
I
just
think it's
want
the
to say
Hollow
that.
Place.
So that works. So when they go to the hollow place, love that. I get really angry at the main character for like, oh, I'm gonna put a stick in the ground and then we'll be able to find our place back. And I was like, are you like what? No, like that gave me a lot of anxiety, but I also liked that. And then when they find the bus, that just the descriptions
The
of like the
bus
school
was
bus with the
crazy.
kids, yeah, that
Sarah
was so
says the only
cool.
thing she remembers off the book is the bus.
I mean, it's a pretty memorable scene, and I feel like the same way that and the guy in the with the
Yeah.
his inside spewing out, like the guy in the water, that was done really well too. It's just everything in between, like just the jokes she was cracking all the time, like it took away from like everything being so creepy. Like it would be
Yeah.
creepy, and then she would say something, and then I'd be like, or think something like silly, and then I'm like, it just took me out of it. Like it just
Yeah.
caused it to be less creepy and more annoying, I think.
Yeah, like the whole second half too, it was just so slow because they were just like, how do we close this? Is it closed? What is going on? My leg is injured. I need to do these books for my uncle who's in the hospital. I was like, I don't even care. Like, bruh,
Yeah.
it just went on for so long because I was on like stream, but not like live, but I was like on a call with Sarah, and I was like, Sarah, how am I halfway through? And then they just came back. And she was like, exactly. I was like, okay, why are they back? Like from the
Yeah.
hollow place, and we're only halfway through. That makes no sense to me.
Exactly. And I thought like maybe they were going to explore more portals. And the parts that they did go into, some of them, like they were very quick and they weren't described well enough to where I could get a clear picture of it. It would just be like, oh, it was just filled with water. And then we just went to the next one. And then I was like, you're not going to go into some like cool, like super cool, like portal with like some weird shit going on inside. Like that's what I was expecting. But they end up just going to one, staying the night, like finding a few random things, and then like everything else that was creepy was really just the stuff outside of the portals. I already kind of had a feeling that the willows were moving, so that was kind of cool, like the fact that the trees are moving, but these like other creature, like was it the willows the whole time, or were there these other creatures
I
that were
have
like
no idea.
making the humming noise, or was it the I'm so confused about that part. Like I don't think it was. That's why I kind of feel like, do I need to read the short story, The Willows? Because I know it was inspired by this, like, or
I
this
need
was
to know that.
inspired by that, like, to understand the willows and how they work, because I really didn't understand it. Like, how
I don't know either. It doesn't even bother me though. It just
that
I
really, it bothered me
understand.
that I couldn't really understand the world. Like, I don't think that it was
I think they
described
did it
well
like
enough for
that.
me.
I think they did it like that because the characters didn't know. The characters also didn't understand the world.
Right.
So I
Absolutely.
think that's why we didn't understand it. But I understand why she used otters or whatever. I just think it was just too comical. Like I would have just made sense like if it was like some thing causing it and it's like one of like the oddities in there. But like the fact that this otter had its mouth sewn shut and was just like that is so no. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being the otter. That's totally fine.
I
It's
just
the
don't like the otter like moving around and attacking people.
attacking the like the cat and stuff. That was kind of silly.
Like I just don't understand. Like if the I feel like it would have made sense if the otter because I understand like the otter was trying to get back or whatever, but if it was just the otter and like I don't know, it was like stationary, like it was still just like an object, I feel like I would have liked that. I feel like it could have been done. I don't know how because I don't write books, but I feel like it
Yeah.
was just a cop out to just have like this otter just magically animate and just like
Yeah.
start attacking people.
Like
I
maybe
don't
it
like
had like laser eyes in it, like
I
laser
just
eyed the hole in
don't
the wall. Like who knows? I
you know
don't
what it's
know.
giving? It's giving what is that? What is that? What is that movie? Night at the Museum? Is that the movie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's giving that. And that is not a scary movie. That's a funny movie.
Mm-hmm. I
That's what
do.
it's
I
giving.
think it definitely is a little more, and I think comical can work in horror.
I think it can too,
For
but in the
example, like
second
Grady
half,
Hendrix does it very well.
yes.
This, I didn't like it in this. I thought it was
But
annoying, and I didn't even think a lot of the jokes were that funny. Like it just,
in the second half,
at no point did I really laugh out loud, or was I like,
yeah.
it just
But in
annoyed
the
me more than
second half,
anything. Like all of those, like that's why the part with the man in the water was the creepiest. I think that's the only part where she isn't cracking jokes.
no, but also like in the second half, there was no horror. Like I feel like if you're doing like horror with comedy, you have to do a mixture. Like you have to balance it out. So it was like comedy a little bit, then like horror because of like the bus and everything like that. And then it was
Mhm.
like just like they're staying the night or whatever. And this whole second half was like comedy and then an animated otter and then it ended. Like that makes no sense.
Mhm. And I think it didn't. It really didn't. It's very like disjointed is a perfect term. I really feel like for this book, like there, I did enjoy like the fact that she found this like Bible and was finding out information about a
That was
little more about the hollow place with that. But at the same time, I'm like that was pretty much the whole second half of the book is her reading the Bible. Like it wasn't her like exploring the hollow places or learning more about it personally. And I think that does happen really, really quickly where they're in there and then they're out. And then they're just talking about how much they're freaked out about it. That's
so
like it
annoying.
doesn't really go anywhere until like she does like wake up and I guess try to go back in or something. I
Oh
don't
yeah, I
know.
remember that with the dreams.
Mm-hmm.
how like they were dreaming and trying to get back, and that still wasn't horrifying. Like I was just like, "Are you good?" Like
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
know.
like hoping she would go back in. I was like, okay, maybe she'll like wake up and she's back in that place
I
and
feel
then
like
go
if it
find some
was
other cool
just
shit.
I
But
feel
it
like if
didn't
it was just a
happen.
fantasy, it would have just been better. Like I feel like the only like horror in it is the bus and the the man with his intestines, and that was it. And I feel like if it because it's marketed as a horror, if it was
Mhm.
just marketed as fantasy, I feel like it would have been fine. It would just been a weird fantasy. But because it was also trying to be scary, but it didn't succeed at being scary, like because it doesn't have to scare me for me to understand that it's scary. But
Right.
it wasn't scary. There was nothing going on. I mean, maybe if you think an animated otter, an animated taxidermy otter attacking your cat is horrifying, then maybe it's horrifying for you. But I don't. That's just funny. Like if I saw that in the middle of the hallway, I would just be like, "What?" Like I would not be scared. I would just be like,
Yeah.
"This is so like, am I
This
hallucinating?
is
Like what
so
is going
weird.
on?" Like I would not be scared.
Absolutely.
I would just be like, "This is what is life?"
I know. Like makes a great point. Like it seemed like an afterthought to add more horror elements, but it didn't work. I definitely agree. I feel like it and the thing is like you're saying, Deja, like horror doesn't necessarily have to be scary. That's the thing about horror. That's what I love about horror the most is it doesn't have to be scary. It just there are no rules when it comes to horror, and I totally get that. It's really just the way that this story is told. Like it just did not do anything like for me personally, and I could totally see why people would love it. I just think there's so much in here that could have just been taken out and it wouldn't have even mattered. Like the whole thing with her ex, like I don't know why that was even in there, like him calling her and like I just don't understand that because it wasn't like it was a character driven story where we like wanted to connect to the character more. So why was her like relationship with her ex-husband like why was that even included? Like was it supposed to make us feel some way about her or I really don't understand why it was there. And there's a lot in this book that I'm like I don't understand why that was there. Or I just didn't understand it fully at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
it's just
dreaming part was
listening on
interesting.
audio, like I don't know.
The dreaming part was interesting, but it just like went nowhere. Like it
Yeah,
literally went nowhere. Like one night they just didn't dream and go there and then they just never it just never happened again. Like that makes no sense. Like
no,
they were just dreaming and that was interesting. And then like they didn't even like they didn't even say like what made it stop. Like they were like handcuffed to this bed, but handcuffing didn't work before. And so like one night it just didn't happen and then that was it. That makes no sense.
yeah. There's so much about that that I don't understand. So, like I was saying about the trees, like, so is it the trees? Are there other like beings that are there too? Because it feels like they're talking about multiple entities in that world and how some are like evil and some are not, and but you never get a full grasp on what
And
the
like what
hell
even
who
was
is
the
what.
otter? What was the otter? Like what kind of was that a tree that's now
I
an
don't
otter?
know.
Like
Was
what
it
is that?
but it says the light makes things come to life. So I don't know if it just had the light in it and that's what made it come to life or if it was like a haunted or cursed or like an
Because
object from that
seemed
world.
yeah, it
I
seemed
don't
like a
know.
creature that was trying to get back. It was just trying to get back. So what was it that was trying to get back? I don't understand. And not that everything has to be explained.
Was
Like
it carved out of one of the willows?
maybe, but it was remember like it wasn't the otter itself. It was like something they put with the otter, and then it went into the otter.
Mm.
It
What if
wasn't the otter.
did anyone look up the Corpse Otter drawing?
I don't know, but it was like I think like the guy whatever sent something to him, and it was put with the otter, and then it transferred from that thing to the otter, transferred from a carving to the otter, because the otter wasn't a carving; it was taxidermy. So it was like a carving that he sent that had
But there was
something.
an otter carving too.
Was it the otter carving? I thought the
There
otter
was
was.
an otter carving and a taxidermy otter.
So which one was? I think the taxidermy one
It
because he
was
was
the
talking about how.
carving, I think, was the
Well,
bad thing.
Yeah, but I think the otter, like the taxidermy one, was the one that was trying to get back because it was fighting the cat, and she was talking about how it couldn't bite the cat because its mouth was sewn shut.
I think, well, that's the thing that, okay, so this is how I think it worked.
Bruh.
So I think her uncle got this, I forgot the guy's name that he got it from, but he got the carving in the mail, right? And she opened it up and put the carving in the museum. She was supposed to lock it up, but it had somehow like seeped into like the otter too, like whatever the light was or whatever, because it seeped into like the other things, like the raccoon, and that's why the
Yeah.
cat fought the raccoon. But I think it came initially from that
Yeah,
carving.
it came from the carving, but I thought
But
that
the
the
carving was an otter too, though.
oh, I didn't know the
It was an
so was
otter.
that what was
What?
trying to get
I
back?
could have. It was a carving of an otter. That's what I thought.
I just didn't pay
Somebody
attention to
tell
what
me in the
the
chat because I know there was an otter taxidermy that was already there because she describes it in the beginning before she even like before they even received the carving. She talks about the taxidermy otter, but it's the carving. Yeah, it's a Woody sent it. The Corpse Otter carving. Yeah, it was an otter, right? Corpse Otter. Wasn't an what does Corpse Otter mean?
Well, I'm looking at it. I'm
Do
looking
I
at
not know what a
pictures of
Corpse
it.
Otter carving is? It's an otter, right? So it's like an otter that's carved from like something. I don't know,
Wood.
is it corpse?
So maybe it
I was
is
really
carved from the
confused with
hollows.
that.
I have no idea. I know that he talked about in the book how there was a man who carved it, but I don't remember what he carved it from. Yeah, so that's what I thought. That's what I thought. It like went transferred from the carving into the taxidermy otter. That's what I thought. And then the taxidermy otter was the one that they were like fighting and like who went back to the hollow place.
Okay, so this is
Because then
how
didn't
I'm
they have to
just
get rid of the
confused
carving or
reading
something?
this book because I assumed that it was it was just a separate thing and that it had like somehow seeped the light into the otter
Well,
thing.
it did, but I think it just like it didn't seep. I think it just like transferred. Because
Oh.
didn't they have to get rid of the carving after? Like it originally came from the carving and then went to the
Mm-hmm.
taxidermy otter. But then I think they had
So
to
it
get
was
rid of
the
the carving at the
otter, the taxidermy otter was the one punching the hole in the wall
I
the
have
whole
no
time?
idea. I think so.
An otter on one side and skeleton on
It
the
just, you know
other.
what makes it confused is that the
I need to
fact that
look
they're both otters.
that yeah, we should have just done two completely different animals because now I'm just confused at what
Like if one like it should have just been the raccoon the whole time. An otter and a raccoon. I can differentiate that. But an otter carving and a taxidermy otter, like I don't know which I just don't know.
no, I think you
It
make a
should have not been two otters. Now I'm
it
upset about
definitely
that.
made me super confused on how exactly that worked. Don't get how that worked at all. Just like
I have no
there's a
idea.
lot about this book I don't understand, and maybe that's where my dislike comes from because there's so much I don't understand, and it doesn't necessarily it doesn't say anything bad about the book because there's a lot of books where I read things that I don't understand. But with this one in particular, it was so much so that I just like it completely lost me. Like I totally understood what was going on up until they stayed the night in the bunker, and then when they're trying to get back, and then everything after that, I just like and I was listening, like I was sitting and doing nothing listening to the audiobook. So I wasn't like distracted. I was listening. I just had no idea what was going on or what was what. Like none of it made sense to me.
No.
Like maybe that's where a lot of my dislike comes from. And like maybe to other people, like they were just able to understand it better. And to them, they were like, this is just absolutely awesomely weird.
I just don't think some people like for me again like with the willows like I didn't really care about how they moved. I was just like that's how it is. Like they just move. That's fine. Like because like and I think just that some people don't need to understand it to enjoy it. Like I'm pretty sure like with Kayla like she gave
Yeah.
it 5 stars. I'm pretty sure like she doesn't mind not
Not understanding
understanding.
it. And I think with some stories that totally works for me. Like In the House in the Dark of the Woods, didn't understand most of that book.
I don't even
Absolutely loved
remember that
it.
book besides the skin boat. I only remember the skin boat. I remember nothing else about that book at all because
I remember like the well, and that's about it. Like there is a lot
I
of it
was
I
so
don't remember from
confused.
that book.
I was so confused that it just came out of my head
The
because it
skin
was
boat is
never even in
definitely
my
great.
head. It was never even in my head for me to remember. So
But I do remember I remember I enjoyed it. I didn't understand anything about it. I still enjoyed it. I think it's just this story in particular I just didn't like. So I was saying in the chat too that like I am totally going to be reading more T. Kingfisher from now on because I do think she has a really cool imagination. Yeah, or like the same thing with Bunny. Didn't really like fully understand it, but I still loved it. Like it's just this weird book in particular just didn't do it for me. But I do think that she might have some other weird books that I'm going to like. But I kind of feel like I need to read the books her books are inspired from to like understand it better. At least for me.
maybe. I don't know.
I think that might work for me better. Because this one was supposed to be inspired by The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. And I guess it's a short story and it has to do with these willows that like walk around or whatever. I feel like that in-depth, I don't know if there's in-depth explanation on how that exactly that works. Maybe that would have like helped me understand it a little more. I don't know.
Sorry.
I didn't read it. But I know like the Twisted Ones is one that like Carol really liked. It's inspired by The White People, which is another horror book. So now I'm like, should I read The White People?
I wonder what her highest rated book is.
What her highest rated?
Yeah.
The Twisted Ones, maybe?
No, the Twisted Ones has a 3.64, and the Hollow Places has a 3.81. What is this? Is this A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking? What the hell is this? Is this a book?
I feel like I always get interested in reading books too, and I don't like always feel like I need to read the original, but like now after reading this, I'm like, maybe I should have, like, because I'm so confused.
Her highest rated that I see, well, she has like a series, and one of the books in the series is really highly rated. She has another book called Sword Heart that has a 4.25.
Yeah, I know she writes children's books too. I was like looking up a little bit about the
I don't know if this one's a children's book, but also she
is it not?
I don't know if it is. I'm trying to see.
Oh, okay. Because I know she also writes children's books, I think, with her actual name, and then her pen name is T. Kingfisher, and that's where she writes like.
Oh, well, this one's under T. Kingfisher, and it says it's like fantasy with romance. And also says like it says fantasy, romance, fiction, fantasy, romance, humor, adventure, fantasy, magic, and it has a 4.25. It's like a housekeeper suddenly inherited her great uncle's estate. She really likes uncles, and unfortunately, his relatives.
I did think the main character's relationship with her uncle was really like sweet. Yeah. I always like stories that have like that familial relationship where they have like a relationship with like an uncle or an aunt or a cousin or something, not someone that's like their brother or sister or mom and dad, like people that they live with. Because I feel like just like those relationships, those like more distant family members, like those are like real solid. And like, I don't know, I find them very endearing because like you're actually choosing to like be close to this person. I don't know. Yeah. I love that. I always love like those types of stories. I don't know. It just there's still a lot like that I found was like good about this. So that's why I want to like try some of her other stuff and just I really do think it's just this story. Like it just didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
I'm trying to look. Yeah, most of her highly rated books are in series, but she has some highly rated ones that aren't in series, and they have like 1,000, 2,000 ratings, like a good amount.
Oh, really?
Like one of them has a 4.49 and almost 2,000 ratings. Yeah, but I don't know anybody that's read it. This one, yeah, the 4.49 is about Baba Yaga. You know the witch Baba Yaga?
Is it the
Baba Yaga, the witch? She's like a real witch. No, she's from folklore, Slavic folklore.
Oh no,
Baba Yaga.
I don't.
No, Baba Yaga.
I was all thinking the Babadook. I was like,
no, Baba Yaga is like a witch That's from Slavic folklore. It says she's a supernatural
Interesting.
being who appears as a deformed and or ferocious-looking woman. In Russian fairy tales, Baba Yaga flies around in a mortar, wields a pestle, and dwells deep in the forest in a hut, usually described as standing on chicken legs. Yeah, the thing
I've
about
never
Baba Yaga
actually
is
heard
that
of
she has
that, but
chicken
I
legs.
find that very fascinating. I
Well,
will
like her
probably be looking
highest
that up
rated
now.
book that I can find is Summer in Orcus, which is about Baba Yaga.
Interesting.
But it
Wait,
says
what's
a
that?
free serial released twice weekly. I don't know what that means. She also has a Nine Goblins one.
Oh, takes
It's a
place.
novella.
Oh,
But I don't know. It seems like a
almost.
lot of her.
What? I have no idea. Oh my god.
Literally, I was like, how do you not know Baba Yaga?
I really don't. I've
She's,
honestly
she
never
has
heard of it.
chicken
Like,
legs.
I'm super interested now though.
So
I
it's
bet if I saw it, I'd be like, wow, I've actually seen that before, but I had no idea who it was.
yeah, but it just seems that most of her like just fantasy stuff seems to have pretty high ratings, but it's the stuff that's like fantasy horror that people don't like. Because I'm pretty sure the only ones that are fantasy horror are the twisted ones and this one. And these are the ones with like the lowest ratings.
Yeah, no, I've never seen this before. I've honestly like never
This
even
is
heard of
so
Baba.
funny. So
So
my
you know what?
dad,
This is something my friend Roz would love. I bet you she knows what this is, and like
it's like a folklore
she'll
thing.
tell me all about it.
But this is so funny.
I'm
So
so
my dad,
interested now. I want to read about that.
this is random, but my dad was like, "When do you want me to bring this stuff to you?" Because
Ooh.
he's supposed to bring me like my back has been hurting, and so I was supposed to like pick up stuff when I went home, but my mom didn't want to pick me up because she hates me. So he is now bringing this stuff to me instead. So he was like, "When do you want me to pick it up?" So I told him like any time today after like this live show is fine. He was like, "Do you want me to get anything else on the way?" I was like, "Are you offering to get me food? Is that what you're saying to me right now?"
Mm-hmm.
Because like you know what he does too, because the last time that he brought me stuff and like last week, because he brought me House Sky and Breath last week, and he brought me food too, and he literally was like, "Oh, DoorDash," or no, he was like, "Dad Dash is leaving Waffle House right now." I was like, "Not Dad Dash."
Dad Dash. I love it. Your dad is so cute.
He is so annoying.
I love it. I seriously love your dynamic. It's just
We
like
all call
him
him Ed
being
though. It's so
so
funny.
sweet, and then you just being like, stop, stop.
No, it's so annoying. But like my friends and I, we all call him Ed, but I only call him Dad. Like I call him Dad, but like I don't know why it started, but I'd be like, Ed is so annoying. And then now everybody's like, we love Ed. Like everybody just talks about Ed.
We do love Ed. Sophie Anderson has great middle grade books with Baba Yaga. I'm totally gonna be looking this up today. I'm gonna be like reading all sorts of stories about this
Yeah,
because
I don't even like know
I
a lot
really had
about
no
her.
idea. That's so funny. I've
Yeah, I
never
didn't know
heard
a lot about her. I just knew like I've just heard of it, Baba
Yeah,
Yaga.
I'd never heard
Chicken leg,
anything about it.
whatever.
I don't know how I just like completely missed that my
That's so
entire 32
funny.
years of
Kat
life.
was like,
But
I can't get over Kat's comment.
I know. I'm all what? Are there any you think you have any like final thoughts about the hollow places? I can't even I feel like we touched on
I'm
everything.
pretty sure I'm just gonna give it
Someone
2.5.
did mention the military being there and everything.
Yeah,
So
I don't
like
understand
who
what
put
that
the
was.
bunkers? Was it the military that did that? Like
I
they
have
don't
no
even
idea.
know how that like I'm so confused by
Where
everything.
did the military
So
go?
are
Did they
they
just all get
portals into
slaughtered?
other worlds or are they bunkers? Because that's also confusing.
I have no idea.
I seriously need like T. Kingfisher to explain this book to me. Tell
I
me.
don't even think T. Kingfisher knows.
She was like, I had a dream, and I just wrote it on paper. It's wild.
Oh my gosh, I had this weird dream last night that I told someone from BookTube that I'm not gonna say who it is because you know when you have a dream about someone and something negative happens in the dream and then you feel weird about them now, but they don't have any knowledge that you had this dream.
Right?
I had a dream that I told them that my mom thought Pretty Girls wasn't graphic, and then they were like, "Why are you judging what other people like? Like, why are you trying to gatekeep what people like?" And I was like, "What?" Like in my dream, I was so sad. I was like, I'm not trying to gatekeep nothing. I just thought it was
You
weird.
just think she's weird.
I was like, how do you not think that? Like, I'm just like, if my mom hasn't even read the book, but I was
You're
like, if she
just
doesn't like it,
concerned. You're
yeah,
just
I was like,
concerned.
and she was
I'd
like,
be
why are you
concerned.
literally? It was like a text message, and it was like, why are you gatekeeping what people like? And I was like, what?
I'm not.
I was so sad in my dream, like for
Oh,
real.
you poor thing.
No, I had a dream also like a couple days ago that I killed both my parents. So that was fun.
Interesting.
And I told them, and they both were just like on the phone separately. They were both like, I'm not surprised. They literally had no emotion either. They were not concerned. They were just not.
Like honestly, like
The math is mathing for me.
yeah,
That's what they said.
makes sense.
And then I don't
tracks.
remember doing this. I don't remember doing this, but like I killed my mom for something. I don't know. There was a reason. So I killed her. And then my dad walked in with me with the body, and I was like, shit, gotta kill you too.
Well,
Sorry.
you saw it.
And then like
no witnesses.
all of a sudden it like popped over to them like being cut up in trash bags. Like I cut them up. But I don't remember doing it. But they were just in trash bags. And then the police officer came for I don't know. And then I was like, don't look at my trash bags. And then I woke up from my dream. Because I would think I was scared that he was gonna figure out that there was bodies in there.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, man, no. Because I was like, oh, I kind of want Chinese food. But I was like, that seems kind of out the way. And then he literally just texted me, want some Chinese or something.
We love Ed. We love Ed. Ed has like
he has like a six daughter sense or something.
Yeah.
But the military thing was weird. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't really get it either. And then how did the bus get there?
I think the bus is from the world. No?
I don't think so, because I think whatever like entity it is that like messes people up, you know, like takes them apart. How are they going to whatever it does to them? It like put the kids in the seats, like inside the leather. So like I don't think they were a part of the world originally. I think they're I guess that makes sense that the portals would be alternate realities, because when she tried to look up the name of the school bus, like she couldn't find it. But how did it get there?
I don't know. I assume that in this world, even though it's weird, I feel like there is some sort of semblance of something. Like I think there are like people or something in there. I don't know. And I thought maybe the kids were just trying to go to school in this alternate world. They're just trying to get that education.
And then they just ended up there. Like I can't understand it. I can't understand any of it. Like
I think what it was is that normally weird books that you don't understand, everything like the writing is also very weird. And like the writing is just like, huh? Like you're confused in it by yourself. But because the character was so normal and like her thoughts were like normal, like it felt like I don't know how to describe it, but like it just seemed like a normal character going about her normal life. And then like this whole thing you just couldn't understand was just weird. But like in the house with the house in the dark in the woods, whatever, that book, the writing was like weird. Like the writing was absolutely weird.
Oh, yeah. See, me thinking the bunkers are portals.
Oh, I didn't read The Library at Mount Char.
That one was a mess too.
But then how did the portals in other places open? Because if this portal opened because there was like this object that caused it to be open, how many objects are there and why are there so many? Do portals just open randomly and they just happen to have this object that also opens portals? But then why? Like that doesn't make sense. Because do portals open because of objects or do they just open? Because that just doesn't make sense to me.
Like those open doors that are on all the little islands, like are some of them portals and some of them bunkers? Because I don't think I understand. Or are they all bunkers and portals just like Alora's saying, like portals just open everywhere?
Yeah, they just open.
So all the things in the like all the doors in the ground, like and stuff, those are all bunkers then?
I have no idea. I don't remember these doors.
Oh my God. I don't get it. I really don't.
But like, I don't understand what opens the portals. Like, how many objects are there that are opening portals?
I don't know.
Or do they just open? Like, how does a whole school bus
And are the
end up in there?
objects like are they the willows? Like that's the only thing that it being a carving. Like, is there wood involved? Like, is it willow? And that's why it's all like, like
Yeah, I don't
evil.
understand
Like,
what
I don't get
my
it.
carving was
I
trying to get
don't. I don't fully understand what a corpse carving is. Like, I know that, like, I understand, okay, there's a skeleton involved. Is there wood involved? Like, is
at.
it
Yeah.
willow from this place? And that's why it's trying to get back. And so, do things carved from the willows from this place, are those the things that are opening the portals? Or, like Deja's saying, like, are the portals just open?
Maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm trying
Or
to
is it these, like, invisible things that are walking around that are, like, humming? Or are those the willows themselves? I'm just really I really don't. I really don't. I just don't get it. Like how they say there's these things that are like the empty space between the willow branches and how they're moving, but then they hear this like kind of humming noise, and those are the things you're not supposed to think about. But are those the willows, or are those the empty space things?
Yeah, okay, so someone says they drew a picture of it, and it just says, I just finished taking Fisher's The Hollow Places, and I wanted to draw the Corpse Otter, a little willow wood carving that only barely hints at the intense body horror that is to follow. So I think it is carved from the willow wood.
That's what I would assume. Because I'm like, how else would it just. I would think that someone ended up there and to pass the time maybe did that.
Yeah, or something.
And then it just was found somehow, and then it tried to get back. The military can somehow open a portal. That portal was out in the open. That's why the military died. The guy with his intestines out said he walked through plants and ended up there. So I think the school bus was just driving, and then it somehow ended up through a portal.
Yeah, but how can the military open a portal at will? How is this carving open a portal? And then this guy was just walking through plants and ended up there. He did nothing.
The guy that was writing in the Bible could have at least given us like a little some stuff that led up to them being there. Because
yeah, it seems like this
like we're here and this is happening. What happened before? Like, how'd you get there?
I just feel like these portals are opening for very different reasons. Like, there's no one reason. Who put the otter carving in there? It was sent to them.
Yeah, Sarah put it in there. It was sent to them by Woody.
And Woody had like a book or something that went with it, but they never opened the book.
Yeah, he said he found it. He found it somewhere in is it Dubai or
Dubai?
No, it's like I think it's a fictional world in the book.
I have no idea.
He found it. It is basically what the hollow place kind of is. It's weird. Okay. I don't know how to explain it really, like, because obviously it's very confusing. But he found it, and then when he brought it home, the thing was trying to like open portals. Mm-hmm. And shit. So then he sent it to the museum and told them, like, he said he put a piece of paper in there that said to lock it up somewhere, but they missed that. So
no, I think it was in a book. And so they were like, oh, a book, another thing. And she was like, we probably slapped a $20 price tag on it and sold it off to some customer. That's what she literally said. So it wasn't like a paper. It was like a book or something. But I was like, how did you write that in a book? Like, you just like put it in the front notes? Did you write a whole book? Like, what?
I'm confused by that. It came from the willows, but I'm assuming where Woody found it, there was probably a portal as well. Like, there was probably a portal. He walked in and walked out and didn't realize it. That's the only thing that I can think of. I don't know. I don't know how he got it from the willows to the museum. I don't know.
Basically, what this book is teaching you is to not pick things up from the ground.
Oh, straight up. And do not just take it home.
No.
If a random portal opens up in your house, like maybe you have haunted stuff. I don't know. But also, like, I mean, I do that sometimes because I bring lots of random rocks home and stuff. So
Okay, but rocks are different than a man-made object.
yeah, then a skeleton carving.
No, yeah,
A
this book is a
corpse
mess.
carving. I'm so confused. It's probably one of the most confusing books, and that's the thing too is like that isn't the reason why. I guess it's some of the reason why I don't like it. Like it's just the stuff. It's just literally not understanding a thing about
I
it.
think it just depends on how things are executed because sometimes you really like something, but it doesn't work in certain books. Like I'm thinking like for romance, right? Normally, like I used to really like Age Gap, and then I read it in this one book and I hated it, and I haven't read an Age Gap since because I just really did not like it at all. And
Mm-hmm.
so like, but I used to like it before. So I think it's just like how it's executed in this book, the confusingness, it's just too much. Again, I'm saying like it's really like the character is normal. Like it's written like a normal book, but then
Mm-hmm.
just all these confusing aspects. With The House in
Mm-hmm.
the Dark and the Woods, that
Yeah.
book was just like the writing was confusing. The character, I didn't know her. She wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
person. I mean, she was, but like I don't know. Like they
Yeah.
didn't have like a semblance of normal life.
Absolutely.
I think it was like too based in reality for it to be as confusing as it is. If it's just like if it's gonna be confusing,
Mm-hmm.
just embrace it. Just
Yeah.
be confusing.
Well, it was also trying to be like it was trying to be horrific and confusing and kind of like cosmic and
Weird.
weird, but also be funny. It was just so many things at one time.
No,
I
it
think.
didn't.
And it just didn't work. And the humor was just not my humor. It just didn't work for me. I was just like, I don't find any of this funny. I just don't see why we have to make a joke about every single little like thing that happens. And it just got so
Maybe
annoying.
that's just how she's coping with her divorce or something. I don't know.
Maybe, but and that just that whole aspect in general, I'm like, I just don't understand why. Like he calls her twice just to like, I don't know, try to make her feel feelings or something. I don't, and I'm like, I don't know why this is in the story. It just
Like
really,
I didn't mind her being like divorced or nothing. I think that added to it for sure. But like
I
just
don't
like the
mind that
way
either. But I just don't get why, like him calling her and saying, "Hey, did you see the picture that?" And then she's just like, "What? Like I don't care. Like what? I'm sorry, but
no,
why
that
did we
has
even
no
need
point in
that?
being in there.
No, like we didn't even need it."
No.
I don't know. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about before we head out of here? I think we touched on everything. I can't think of anything in this book
I
that
think
like
we talked about everything.
jumped out at me. I mean, was the guy who was dead in the bunker, right? Like he's the guy wrote in the Bible.
I guess.
I feel bad. Like I mean, that person was just pretty much just forgotten about.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, we're just gonna like plaster it up with this guy still in there. Just
Call it a day.
yeah, yeah. The humor was too much. I think it was just too much humor for a book. Also trying to be like creepy.
I mean, I think it works sometimes, but I think like the humor didn't work with the confusing part.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you said, like Grady Hendrix does it really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it was trying to be confusing and funny and horrific, and that's too much.
Yeah, it was a lot. I think disjointed is gonna be like the word for this book.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you think you're gonna rate it 2.5 still, or are you gonna sit at a 2?
I think I'm doing 2.5.
Okay, cool.
Because I just feel like it wasn't like I feel like for me right now, reading is just like weird and like there's like a lot of times where I'm like, I don't want to read this book. But with this book, it was like easy to pick up. Like there wasn't a time where I was like, ugh, this book, I don't want to read it. I was like, I can read it. Like I don't really care.
I don't know. The last few like hours of the audiobook, I really want
Well,
to.
I
I just
binged it
want
all
to.
at like the same time. So that's really why.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like the first like half was more like split up, and then the last half I basically listened to all at one time except for like a half an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like a half an hour is really like what an hour and a half because on 3 times speed, but like
Right.
it was really just like mostly one chunk.
That definitely helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think
I'm
of
just scared
anything
for
else.
next month's book.
I'm a little nervous, but
I feel like a lot of people haven't liked it.
yeah. Is it super long? Or is it
I
short?
have no idea. I'm
I
looking.
think it's
Yeah, it's
probably
500 pages.
500.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. We
Let me
can
see.
do this.
Someone I know rated it 2 stars. Someone rated it 3 stars. And then that's the only people that I know that have read it. Have rated it 2 and 3.
I might go ahead and start Sawkill Girls like really soon and then read this right after. Because then maybe it'll just like at least like I don't know. If I really
I'm
like
just
that, like it'll
hoping.
give me that boost to like really want to read that one.
I just don't think it's gonna deliver what I want based on what people are saying. But I want it to
Right.
be like the Year of the Witching. That's what I want.
Oh God, I love that.
Because it literally says it's about a girl who joins a coven to root out a vicious evil that's stalking her village. That's like a little the Year
Great.
of the Witching. That's what I
13
want.
hours. Okay, I could do that. I
13 hours is
listen
not
to 10
bad
speed.
because it is YA.
Half, yeah.
When have
I
we
can
had
do
a
that.
YA book?
Huh?
When have we had a YA book in our book club?
The last time I think was The Taking of Jake
Oh
Livingston.
yeah, we did have that. I forgot. Oh, and A Lesson in Vengeance. That
Oh
one
yeah,
was
that's
YA.
YA as well.
I just forget about those books because those
We've
books
done
were
a
not that
couple of
good.
YAs before.
Yeah, let me see what my friend said. She said it pains me that I really didn't like this book. Soccer Girls is one of my favorite books, and on paper, this has everything going for it. By an author I love, has cult witchy stuff, deals with misogyny and religious trauma, has speculative elements, all things I'm generally a fan of. Unfortunately, despite a strong beginning, it really fell apart for me. Mm. Apparently, it does have trigger warnings so for sexual assault, physical abuse, religious
Oh
abuse, gaslighting,
yeah.
gore, and murder. So.
What big teeth? What big teeth was YA too?
Oh, I didn't read that one
No.
because y'all
Yeah,
all said it was bad. So I was
it
like,
sucked.
oh my God.
It wasn't that great.
But then maybe you'll like it because you didn't like Sawkill Girls. I like Sawkill Girls, but I need to reread it.
I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it I'm going to try to fit it in this month. There's already so many books. I'm like, I'm going to read this month, but I'm just like already
I'm going to because you know why? March is my
overdoing it.
spring break. I have 10 days off of school.
That's
I'm
awesome.
not going to, but except tell me why. The Thursday before I go on break, I don't have classes Friday, so Friday is my first day. The Thursday before I go on break, I literally get I get a take-home midterm, and then it's due the Tuesday after break ends. So basically, I have to do my take-home midterm over break.
Yes. It's going to be amazing.
I hope so. But I can't believe I have to do a take-home midterm over break.
I'm sorry.
That's so horrible. This man hates us. He made us read 200-page religious text to write a 5 to 7-page paper.
Oh yeah, how did that go? Fun?
No, I don't even think it's been graded. I don't have any grades in anything for that class. So that was horrible.
Tell him he needs to grade those during break.
Well, the only thing that we have is we have the papers, and then every week we have readings, and we just have to write a 250 to 500 word like thing about it. The readings.
Oh.
Not
the sample. Okay, so the thing with the Sue Rainsford book, it's like not available to everyone. I don't believe.
Oh, the Sue Rainsford, the new one, Redder Days, has a 3.3.
Isn't it just on audiobook? Or I mean on ebook?
Let me see.
It's the reddening, right?
No, it's called Redder Days.
Oh, that's admirable.
Yeah, it's on.
I mean, those covers look so similar. Like you really would get confused.
Yeah, no, it's literally on Amazon, and it's not even like there's no ebook that I see, and you can't even get it.
The availability. That's
it's
why
not even on Prime or nothing. It's not on Prime or anything.
Yeah.
There's no ebook?
It's
How is
not
there not an
available outside
ebook?
the US.
How is there not an ebook?
The only like the reason we're not reading it is because it's unavailable. Like
Yeah.
right here, like on Amazon, it shows that there's a paperback, but it says it's currently unavailable for purchase. The Kindle title is also currently unavailable for purchase.
I can purchase a physical copy, but it says it usually ships within 6 to 10 days and it's $25.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like it's not as accessible to everyone, and we want to make sure that the books that we do pick are pretty accessible.
Yeah, if there's
We
no
know that
ebook, then
Extasia is on Scribd, so if you want to listen to the audio of it, which is probably how I'm going to be reading it, because as much as I wanted to buy it because of that cover, like the ratings are making me not want to buy the physical copy. So
yeah. Ratings are not always reliable, but I find when a book is rated low, like less than 3.5, it's normally not good. If it's less than 3.5, because that's bad.
Yeah, if it's going to be weird, then it makes sense it's going to have a low rating. That's true, because you're going to get a lot of people that are going to dislike it and for the sake of it being weird, and then
but I feel like
it for the sake of it being weird.
Again,
but I feel like a lot of our books that we do pick that are super weird in this club, a lot of them do have like reviews that are on opposite spectrums often.
Yeah, but normally most books that I think have above a 3.5.
Did Bunny really have low ratings?
I'm looking.
It could have.
3.56 for Bunny. The Follow Me to Ground has a 3.59.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like if it's like
most of us actually enjoyed Follow Me to Ground.
Oh, I love Follow Me to Ground so much.
It was really good.
Yeah. The Echo Wife 3.64. That's what I'm saying. I feel like if it's just below 3.5, that's when I get suspicious. Like between like 3.5 to like 3.8 or 3.9, I feel like that's just like a controversial book. But if it's below 3.5, I feel like that means the majority of people did not enjoy that book. And that's not really controversial. That's just not a great book.
I mean, there's still going to be people who like it.
Of course.
Yeah. But it does make you weary.
Just sus. It makes me sus.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I have some stuff I got to do today. So, anyone else have any final thoughts? Nothing? I think we're good. No one else has mentioned anything else. So, we don't have a live show date for Extasia yet, but it'll probably be like sometime at the end of the month. It'll usually be the last Saturday of the month. So, I mean, I would assume it's probably going to be March 26th. So, but stay on the Stacks of Strange Instagram page so that way you can keep up to date with all that. And then we'll be announcing our books for the next 2 months after that. So we'll be announcing April and May, and then in June we're going to be doing Strange-a-thon again. So keep a lookout for that as well. We'll have some like prompts figured out pretty soon. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you have suggestions for prompts too, you can always like hit us up on Discord and like throw out some like prompts. We'd love to have you guys like involved in like planning out Strange-a-thon. That would be really cool. Or you can always like message us on the Instagram page if you don't have Discord. I need to go on Discord and like check out what everyone's saying over there about this book.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited for next month, and then we'll have some sprints as well. We'll probably do a couple of rounds of sprints. March is like a pretty big month, I feel like, so we could do a bunch of stuff. I don't have like a whole lot going on, so yeah. But thank you guys so much for being here and talking about the Hollow Places and not like trashing us for trashing the book. Like I really didn't want to trash the book or anything. It was just like
confusing thing.
I'm just glad that you guys aren't like upset with us for not liking it as much as like a lot of you have. But it was still like I still was fairly entertained most of the time. So
yeah, I definitely was.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you guys next month. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.